Welcome back everybody to another episode of Direct Comparison. In today's episode, we're looking at the recently released Kingdom Hearts 3 and seeing how it compares visually to a few of the previous entries in the series, mainly Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Typically I only compare one game, but since the first two main entries to the series share a lot in common and are from the same console era, I thought it would be worth using them both just to show how much the overall presentation of the series has improved with the newest Kingdom Hearts 3. And thankfully, many of the same locations and characters appear throughout the series, making it much easier to make some direct observations. Now, before we get started, keep in mind that the purpose of this video is to show how the visuals have been improved, so we're not necessarily trying to answer a question about which looks better. Also, I'll be using a mix of the original PS2 versions of the first main Kingdom Hearts game in combination with the more recent Final Mix Full Story Collection on the PlayStation 4 Pro for the sake of making it easier to load specific save points that I've stored. But the original version and this more recent Final Mix version are practically identical outside of the improved frame rates and bump in resolution, so it shouldn't necessarily affect our comparisons. So to start off, let's look at our character models, starting with the main character Sora. Sora has had a bit of a growth spurt over the course of this franchise's many games, going from a very short child to a young teenager. It looks like Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3 has mostly grown into his gigantic feet from the original game, and the overall proportions look a bit more natural now. His outfit is obviously different now as he's been given a new one at the beginning of both Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3. But other than that, Sora himself looks mostly the same. He's still sporting the same spiky hair, which now not only features more defined textures, but also some shadowing to help give his hair more depth. Sora's model geometry has been improved significantly, removing the sharper edges, and while he's still stylized to some degree, the lighting helps Sora appear more realistic, in line with digital characters in more recent animated films. Next we have Donald Duck. Again, you can see that Square Enix opted for a more three-dimensional design this time around, with advanced shadowing, lighting, and more bulbous overall presentation for Donald. It feels like a step away from the classic drawn cartoon aesthetic, but it's understandable why the decision was made. Many of the new featured worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 are based on the newer Disney and Pixar 3D animated films like Tangled, Frozen, Toy Story, and Monsters Inc., as opposed to the traditional classic Disney animation studio films like Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and The Lion King. This results in some weird looking characters in the few instances where Sora and his friends do happen to visit the more traditional worlds, like Hercules for example. Hercules just looks strange in this world. There's more detail than we've ever seen with this character, including a high resolution texture on his outfit. But once you get to the actual brand new worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3, it all begins to make more sense. These new environments, like Toy Story for example, look gorgeous, and not only look better than the original games, but also look almost as good as the films that they represent. Woody and Buzz look incredible, save for a bit of minor aliasing, and the animations that go along with them are flawless. The gameplay animations have also been improved, with much smoother overall movement control, jumping, and combat mechanics, whereas before, each animation transition felt very abrupt and uncomfortable. These improvements also extend to the camera control, which has been improved substantially over the original game's awkward automatic camera that could only be rotated with the rear triggers. Moving on from the character models, we have environmental textures and overall detail. This is where we see another massive leap forward for Kingdom Hearts 3. The original Kingdom Hearts game has aged poorly in terms of environmental complexity. Each stage feels empty with minimal prop placement, incredibly low resolution textures, even the more recent Final Mix versions, and overall smaller level designs. Each world has only a few rooms to explore and aren't as immersive as the levels in Kingdom Hearts 3. Fast forward to now, and the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 are massive. While they're still linear formats, each world can take a while to complete, with multiple bosses, minigames, and more complex cutscenes and animation work. Boss battles are more epic than ever, with massive set pieces that just weren't possible back on the PS2. Minigames are more diverse and fun than they were when they were introduced in Kingdom Hearts 2, and fully voiced cutscenes are now far more common, rather than the original games where a lot of the more lengthy dialogue segments were done using text bubbles. Moving on from textures and environments, we have lighting. Lighting has seen some significant changes that add a lot to the new presentation. The game world is now properly illuminated based on available light in the scene, rather than the pre-baked solution used prior. Reflective surfaces have also become more prevalent, and really help to make scenes like the ones in Toy Story more impressive. Shadows were surprisingly complex for Kingdom Hearts 1, even the original PS2 version. They're not amazing, but they also weren't simple dark circles underneath characters like so many games at that time. Kingdom Hearts 3 improves on these shadows with some softer edges, and things like anisotropic filtering go a long way in creating the complex surfaces in the environments that just weren't possible before. And now we have special effects. Here's where Kingdom Hearts 3 just blows the other games away. The special effects in Kingdom Hearts 3 look incredible, and Sora's many new abilities and much more streamlined combat capabilities really help to push these special effects to center stage. Particle effects from various Keyblade variants fill the screen with every impact with the Heartless, and beautiful displays of color and light emit from special attacks, especially the new Disney ride mechanic. The fight sequences are all visually impressive, and it's incredible to see the PS4 Pro manage to maintain a decently solid frame rate all throughout, only dipping occasionally in some of the larger arenas. Kingdom Hearts 3 really likes to push its physics-based environments, with an entire boss sequence taking place entirely in a town of physics-based blocks, making not only for an impressive-looking fight, but also adding a fun, creative twist that you rarely see in games. The original Kingdom Hearts game had particle effects as well, mainly the money and health orbs that would drop after you defeated an enemy, but the environments featured very little in the way of physics-based objects. The most you could do back then would be destroying a bunch of barrels for a secret item. Water has seen some huge improvements. Water previously was just a simple repeated texture overlap and was used sparingly, but with Kingdom Hearts 3, water is used much more to showcase beautiful reflective surfaces and rippling effects throughout the game. Character models even appear wet after jumping into bodies of water, a feature that was never present before. Fire effects looked alright in the original Kingdom Hearts, but I love what they ended up doing with these fire effects in later entries, by making them match the current world's art style. Fire in Mulan and Hercules, for example, would be more stylized, with more cartoon-like smoke effects. This holds true in Kingdom Hearts 3, where we see some impressive examples of this early in the game. Next up, we have some sound comparisons. Which game do you think has the better overall sound mixing? Now, there's a ton of things I can talk about in terms of gameplay changes, but I'm going to save that for my full review of the game coming as soon as I complete it, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But overall, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a massive leap forward graphically from the original set of PlayStation 2 games. Textures are more detailed, characters are more three-dimensional, animations are cleaned up, and the environments are loaded with physics-based props. It is a little weird seeing the more two-dimensional animated characters represented in a more computer-animated approach, but the newer worlds more than make up for it with some insanely detailed character designs that match the source material perfectly. But what do you guys think? Do you like the improvements made to the graphics in Kingdom Hearts 3, or were you expecting more? Let me know in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this posted every week.